If there's one thing you will find out about me on this channel as we go and grow, I'm a huge movie buff. Whenever a new movie comes out, you're probably going to, well, you can probably find me at the movie theater watching it, but with the rest of 2019 pretty stacked in terms of what is coming out, a lot of people have been overlooking all the great stuff that's already been confirmed for next year. Welcome to Trending 10, everybody, and this is my list of the 10 most anticipated movies, maybe my personal list, coming in 2020. And we're going to kick things off with G.I. Joe Snake Eyes. Now, you guys let me know in the comment section what movie are you most looking forward to. And the G.I. Joe movies started back in 2009, and they weren't great. I know, they were definitely fun to watch, as they were basically just a whole bunch of insane stunts and fight scenes with a very loose plot to justify everything. The last G.I. Joe movie was G.I. Joe Retaliation back in 2013, but next year, we will finally be getting a conclusion to the trilogy. G.I. Joe Snake Eyes is currently set to release on March 27th of 2020, and it will feature the origin story of none other than Snake Eyes, with Robert Schwentke serving as the director. Next up is Kingsman: The Great Game. I love the Kingsman movies. They have been some of the most fun action movies of the 21st century. It started with Kingsman: The Secret Service in 2014, and then Kingsman: The Golden Circle in 2017, which wasn't nearly as good as the first, but it was still fun. It was fun. It was a ton of fun to watch thanks to the elaborate action sequences. And a third movie is on its way called Kingsman: The Great Game. Now, according to early reports, this new movie will be a prequel to the first two, and it started production back in early 2018 with Matthew Vaughn serving as a director and producer, and with Daniel Bruhl, Charles Dance, Matthew Good, and Aaron Taylor Johnson in starring roles. The movie is currently set to release on February 14th of 2020, so let's hope that it's better than Golden Circle. Ghostbusters 3. Don't worry. This isn't a sequel to the 2016 reboot. No. Ghostbusters 3 is going to finally, hopefully, be the proper conclusion to the original trilogy. That's right, it was unfortunately cut short back in the 80s. The original Ghostbusters was released in 84, and Ghostbusters 2 came out in 89, but due to various conflicts, the third movie never came out. That is, until 2020. In early 2019, it was revealed by Jason Reitman, son of the original movie's director, that he would be directing an official third movie titled Ghostbusters 3, and it would follow 4 teenagers being recruited by the surviving original Ghostbusters as they try to train them up. Now, Jason Reitman actually got a bit of heat for the cast of the 2016 reboot after he revealed earlier this year that his Ghostbusters 3 it's going to ignore those events. It's going to ignore the reboot events completely, effectively declaring the 2016 movie non-canon. But with fans, they seemed happy with this because they didn't like it. Ghostbusters 3 is currently set to release on July 10th of 2020. At number 7, The Grudge. Now, The Grudge is one of the most terrifying movies of all time, and it, along with The Ring, helped push the horror genre forward in the early 2000s. And we already got a crappy reboot of The Ring a couple years ago, and now it's The Grudge's turn with a movie coming in 2020 simply called Grudge. However, I think this one could be good. It is being directed by Nicholas Pesce, who previously made The Eyes of My Mother, which was a very well-received horror movie from the 2016. Now, Grudge is also being produced by Sam Raimi, who most people know from the original Spider-Man trilogy, but who also had an extensive history with horror, including the original Evil Dead movies and Drag Me to Hell. Grudge has already been delayed a few times to make sure it's as good as possible, so I think the team has been learning from the crappy Rings reboot, and they do not want to repeat that, which is good. It's currently set to release on January 3rd of 2020. Wonder Woman 1984. The DCEU has been a struggle for Warner Brothers, but the one thing that most people can agree on is that Wonder Woman was a solid movie. And hopefully, well, I liked Aquaman too. Hopefully we get a repeat of that in the form of Wonder Woman 1984. Little is known about the exact details of the movie so far, but we do know for sure. It will feature Wonder Woman herself coming back to play Diana Prince, and Patty Jenkins will return to direct it. The plot will involve Wonder Woman facing off against the Cheetah during the Cold War era, and there will be some kind of conflict with the Soviet Union. Shooting is reportedly already finished, and the movie is currently set to release on June 5th of 2020. Fast and Furious 9. These things just keep on coming. Those of you who are tired of them are going to have to bite the bullet on this one because there's another one coming next year. Pretty much nothing is known about the 9th movie other than the fact we know it's coming. The last Fast and Furious movie we got was The Fate of the Furious back in 2017. Then later this year, we are getting a spin-off called Hobbs and Shaw, it looks pretty funny, but it's unclear how that will tie into the 9th official movie. But going off what we know right now, Furious 9 will be released on May 22nd of 2020, and I am sure that we will start getting some teasers later this year once Hobbs and Shaw is released, and we'll probably get some in-scene credits, post-credits for it as well. This next one I'm personally excited for. Bad Boys for Life. Are there any Bad Boys fans out there? For those that don't know, the first Bad Boys was released all the way back in 95. It was an action comedy starring Will Smith and Martin Lawrence and directed by none other than Michael Bay. Then in 2003, there was a sequel called Bad Boys 2. And now in today's age of everything getting reboots and sequels, we are finally getting a third movie called Bad Boys for Life. According to Bay, he wanted to make a Bad Boys 3 back in 2008, but due to the rising production cost as well as Will Smith's rising paycheck demands, he didn't think it could happen. And then in 2009, a script was being written. That's right, this movie has been in production for a decade, and given how long it's been, there have been a lot of changes. According to Columbia Pictures, Bad Boys for Life is slated for a January 17th, 2020 release, and it will once again star Will Smith and Martin Lawrence in their iconic roles, but Michael Bay is not on this project. Instead, the movie will be directed by Adil Arbi and Billa Fala, with Jerry Bruckheimer as the producer. Bond 25. Man, Bond movies have been pretty hit or miss during the Daniel Craig era, if you ask me. On one hand, you have Skyfall, but on the other hand, you have Spectre. The next year will not only be Craig's final outing as James Bond, but it will also serve as a big milestone in the 00 franchise as a whole. It will be the 25th feature film starring Bond. Very little is known about the plot right now, other than a loose outline, and we don't even know the official title of the movie. Bond 25 is just the working title, but we do know that the movie will feature Daniel Craig as Bond one last time. And it's going to be directed by Cary Joji Fukunaga, and it will be released on April 3rd of 2020. So what do you guys think of Daniel Craig as James Bond? Are you sad to see him go, or do you think it's time for someone else to step up? And who do you want to take the role of James Bond? Godzilla vs. Kong. Now, monster movies are trying to make a comeback, my friends. It all started with the 2004 reboot of Godzilla, and then the 2017 Kong Skull Island, which reintroduced the world to King Kong. And at the end, you got some teasers. Both of those movies were big successes thanks to their great special effects and fun story. And later this year, we're going to be getting Godzilla King of the Monsters to serve as a sequel to the 2014 Godzilla. Then, in 2020, all hell is going to break loose with Godzilla vs. Kong. Now, King Kong and Godzilla have been rivals for decades now, but we haven't seen them face off on the big screen since King Kong vs. Godzilla all the way back in 1962. The upcoming Godzilla vs. Kong will be the 36th Godzilla movie and the 9th King Kong movie, and is currently set for release on March 13th of 2020. And at number one today, I can't even believe this is actually happening, Avatar 2. The first Avatar was a massive movie, being made with a $237 million budget, then grossing about $2.7 billion at the box office. That was all back in 2009. And now it's been more than 10 years and we're finally getting the sequel. But what's interesting is that Avatar 2 and Avatar 3 are being filmed at the same time, and apparently it's been underway for 2 years now. Filming began in August of 2017, with performance capture being filmed in November of last year. And according to reports, more filming is going to be taking place in the spring of this year. And since this is for 2 movies instead of 1, that's obviously going to take longer than normal. Now, I guess what I'm getting at here is I'm a little suspicious of the movie actually being finished in time for a 2020 release, but perhaps James Cameron will work his magic and get it done. As for the exact details, Cameron said the writing, directing, and producing of the movie has a budget of about $250 million. Sam Worthington and Zoe Saldana will be returning to reprise their roles from the first movie, which is good. Avatar 2 is currently set for release on December 18th of 2020. I like the fact that they're filming them back to back. That means we're not going to have to wait years upon years between 2 and 3. And there you have it. Those are 10, I guess, of my most anticipated movies for 2020. Be sure to let me know in the comments which ones you're looking forward to the most, or which ones you're looking forward to that didn't make it on this list. If you guys enjoyed, drop a like, and I'll see you soon.
Side.